Today, we're going to be tying a tie with Miss Lovercheck. A couple things to note before we start actually tying a tie. We want to note that there is a skinny end of the tie and a fat end of the tie. We also want to notice that there is a front without the seam and a back of the tie that has the seam running down. Okay, that's a couple things to take note. When we start tying a tie, we want to start with the skinny end shorter than the fat end. Our first step is to cross the fat end over the top of the skinny end. So the fat end is over the top of the skinny end. And this hand is going to hold that X the whole time we are tying this tie. This hand is going to be doing all the moving. This hand is going to be holding the X. Our first step is to take the fat end and go around underneath and rest it on our arm. Okay, so first step is putting an X with the fat end on top of the skinny end and moving the fat end all the way behind this arm. I rest the tie with the seam side up on my arm, so it should look like this. I'm still holding the X here with my other hand. The seam is up. I'm going to grab the fat end and go all the way over the X that I'm holding with my hand, and I let it hang there. Next, I like to put my finger up right here so that you can see my finger poking out underneath across. Our next step will be to take the fat end up through the hole from the bottom to the top. So we're going from chest to chin and flop it all the way over. Last, we're going to be taking this fat tail and putting it down through the loop that we made earlier. Okay, that's where my finger was sticking up, down through this loop. We're going to tuck it in, and then we're going to pull it, the fat end, pulling the fat end until our knot gets tighter. Okay, the fat end should still be in the front. If you need to kind of straighten it out as you're tightening it up, once it gets pretty tight, then I'm grabbing the short end from underneath with one hand. I'm grabbing the knot with the other hand, and I'm simply sliding the knot up as I pull the skinny end. Tighten it as much as it needs, and then if it needs to be straightened out on top, you can tighten it as much as you would like. If a tie is tied properly, the end of it should sit right about at your belt buckle, if you are wearing pants with a belt buckle. And then to remove the tie, grab one end of it. One end should slide freely, the other won't move at all. The end that slides freely will slip all the way out. This will be the skinny end, and then the other side should just unravel. And you're ready to practice tying a tie again. I'll show you one more time with less explanation. Make the cross, hold on to the cross with one hand, go all the way behind our cross, drape it over your arm with the seam side up all the way and over. This is where I stick my finger behind that up and over, let it drop. We're going to bring the tie from our chest to our chin through that hole, let it drop, put it through the hole, pull it tight. Once the knot is tight, you can slip it up. And you've just successfully tied a tie.